what about the rosette wreath? How cool is this? Now, I'm not going to be making the whole lot, but what I am going to show you is how you can make one of those rosettes just with your scoreboard. Now, for anyone that just needs a little reminder of the pad that I've used, so many of us have got the pastel pad. That's the one that I've been using within, of course, this extravaganza show. I think it worked really well, and of course, it's my favorite. So what I have done is I've gone in with the lilac here. Now, I've kept it 12 inches, but I've cut it to 2 inches in width. So 2 by 12, and you'll need 2 of these. So let's go in with 1. You can always have a play with the actual sizes of the pleats of the rosettes, but what I tend to do is every half an inch. So I'm going to go in at every half an inch, and then I'm just going to then score. Now, I like to use this pad or any block cardstock pad because, of course, then it's double-sided, so it means you're going to get that colour on each side. If you are using a pattern paper, it can be good then, of course, to be using a double-sided pattern paper, because as we start to then pleat it, you'll start to see both sides. So working all the way along, every half an inch, I'm just scoring. So work our way. And because we're at half an inch, I've purposely used my score master, and you can see I've not got any more space to start to score. Well, it's every half an inch, so it's really easy. So let's just flip it around and then carry on going again. And then what we will do is we'll then meet where we've left off a moment ago. So let's keep going all the way along. Try and keep it as straight as you can so that your rosettes don't go on the wonk. But if we work our way, and then there we go, I'm now back perfect, meeting up to that last half an inch. Move that one out the way, and then we're going to start to pleat it. So just back and forth, or as crafters, mountain and valley.
Yeah.
So back and forth on each one, and we're just going to then cross it over, fold, cross it over. You can stop halfway, press it together, or you can keep going until you get to the end. And then once you're at the end, just flatten that down, press that in, and then what we've got is we've got our concertina strip.
Brilliant.
I've got within a second one that we can see, and then what I'm going to do on each end, I'm just going to overlap each section. So this one and my additional one, I'm going to take my red liner tape again. You can use your tape runner, you can use your tacky glue. Been purposely trying to use a couple of different ones within this show just to show you. But I would certainly say a lot of this is construction, maybe not necessarily the scrapbook. So my go-to, Ben, would always be the tacky glue or the red liner tape. But you can absolutely use our tape runner and be confident in knowing that it's going to stay strong and it's going to stay together. So we're going to pop these little strips of our chosen adhesive, and then we're going to take them ones off. So let's peel that one, and then we'll take the other side. Now, it's entirely up to you whether you want to take them all off at once or only do one at a time. Now, what I mean by that, as you can see, I'm happy taking the red liner tape off of both sides. If it's someone like Leanne prefers to take one side off first, connect it, and then take the backing off the other side. It's entirely up to you. But all then we need to do is we just need to then connect them over. So if I press that one into there, give it a good press, and then that concertina just carries all the way along. And then we're going to do the same on this side. But of course, what we're going to end up doing is creating a loop. So we're just going to cross over, and then we're going to press, and then now we've got what's going to be the start of our rosette in a moment. And then all you need to do is just press inwards and then just bunch it up into that centre. This one, I just need to then pull back ever so slightly. And then once we then overlap that in, pull that together, fold that in, you'll see your rosette comes together. So let's take a little bit of scrap cardstock, and I do mean it just needs to be scrap. It doesn't need to be anything specific. So I've got a little dot of card, so a little bit of white card. I'm then going to lift that up, and then what we're going to do is we're then going to then bunch that into the centre. So it's been caught by our hot glue. And then I'm just going to then hold and press for a few moments for that to then grab. But you can see how that rosette is starting to come together. And all that I've done is pop that little bit of scrap onto the back. If you find maybe that the glue hasn't travelled all the way behind, and what I mean by that is if I lift that up, you can see it's not quite caught. What you can do is then just go into the middle.
Oh yeah.
Pop a little bit of glue into the middle, because you won't in the end see that, because what you're going to end up doing is maybe putting a die cut circle or maybe a little flower in there, something just to hide that little centre. But let's press that just a little bit longer. I would highly, highly recommend hot glue for your rosettes.
Yes.
Because your tacky glue, you're going to be there for ages trying to then hold it. Your glue gel, you're going to be there for even longer. You're going to then potentially have to put books on top. It might then squash it. So even if you're not a big fan of hot glue, I would highly recommend using your hot glue for the rosettes. And then if it catches on your glass mat, the great thing with the glass mat, of course, is then it just lifts up and then you've got your cool rosette, which all you then need to do is then just pop little die cut circles. If you want to know, that was a bit of mount board and it was 8 by 8 and that centre there is 1.5 inches. So take a dinner plate, a couple of smaller dinner plates, draw around, cut around, and then make all of your rosettes and then just start to then assemble them together. And then there you go. You'll have gone from your rosette that we've created there into your finished one with all these different colours.
That is